Hi everyone, my name is Brian and I'm here with my wife Grace and Patrick and Isa here. And we represent the AM Circle and we're so glad to be in the Cloud Mentorship Program with Pastor Wu for the last couple of years. And we would like to take this opportunity to share our progress and our experience, and hopefully they will be a blessing and inspiration to others. As Pastor Wu always mention in class, he's very focused on entrepreneur. He said not everyone needs to be an entrepreneur, but all, especially Christian, need to embrace this idea of entrepreneurship. Meaning to say, like, we can constantly and consistently explore our potential, our talent, and then align that with our passion, and then refer it back to the calling from God, so that at the right opportunity we can always transform resource or even transform life. So with that regard, we want to focus on the vision, since it's a critical part of entrepreneurship. So why vision is so important is because it reflects one's experience, personality, and character, and that will help shape our calling. So we would like to share in 4 different areas pointing back to this vision from God, and we will start from this ladder that defined by Pastor we call VPA, V-E-P-A. V as vision, E as entrepreneur, P as potential, and then A as apostolic. So I would like to share a little bit of my background first and how I get to join the program with Pastor Wu. So I participated quite a bit at church. I was in the worship team back then, and then I was also in the Sunday school teaching young kids from pre-K, and then later on upgraded to 5th to 6th grade, and then to the youth, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. And then at work, I also try to learn different skill set, try to expand my scope of responsibility, and of course try to gain a promotion at the right timing. So everything seemed to work fine until I realized one day that it seems like I'm trying to live 2 lives, trying to have like 2 separate things in my life that I'm trying to grow, and I kind of lack the tool where I can bridge these 2 together. And that's the time when I joined the M Circle mentorship program with Pastor Wu. So at the beginning of the mentorship, thanks to Pastor Wu's very special background, being an industrial leader and being a pastor, actually he gave me a lot of insight on how to interact with people, especially my coworkers, my boss, how to manage up and how to manage on horizontal level, and that actually gave me a lot of confidence. And then I slowly recognize and even explore some of the things that I'm very good at, and to accept that, hey, I got all these good values and talents that God gave me, and I started to focus more on what I have instead of what other talents that I don't have. And with that, I guess I've become a happier person, and that really gave me another perspective of like, I should be focusing on the area where I'm good at, instead of trying to do everything or even many things that I'm not supposed to be working on. I'm more focused on putting my resources to where it should be. And what really inspired me one time during the class was when Pastor would show us a curve, like supply and demand curve. Instead, it is a talent versus, I think there's the market demand curve. Basically, it means when you explore your talent, when you know what you're good at, and then you will wait for the opportunity. And when there is a market demand, when these 2 curves meet, the crossing point there is actually your mission field. So it really inspired me to narrow down what my mission is. I remember he always encouraged us to work on our mission statement, even though I don't have a full mission statement right now, but I always constantly thinking about what I can add on to it or what I can edit so that I could propel me forward. So at church, I started to incorporate what interests me the most into the Sunday school sermon and teaching to the youth. I remember I started to talk about like science, psychology, mental health. I remember one time we even talked about COVID, but of course we tied it back to the biblical value. And that really gave me a platform to talk about something that I like, and at the same time I can continue to grow my church life. And at work, besides trying to just do a good job or trying to get the result that I have to present to my boss, I started to build character as well. I started to notice other people's strength, and then I will try to do the work to my best as if I'm doing for the Lord. And I will try to work on how to be a good member, have the team spirit. And all this actually tie back to all the things that I have learned from the church so far. On the personal level, I will try to engage God for all the ups and downs at work or in the family or anything that happens surrounding my life. I will try to record all these struggles or things that I'm excited. I will try to put it down into a spiritual journal, and I'll try to pray about that. And I will also record all the results that I have seen so far for all the stuff that I have been praying. And that really helps me to amend these two pieces together, my church life and my work life, into something that is, I think is bigger than 1 + 1 = 2 type of thing. Even though we might not know our future, but I believe that we have more potential than we can imagine. And understand and embrace God's plan is critical, since that would allow us to have the willingness to know my place in the plan. I guess, just like Pastor Wu said, many people would reach their goal or their goals in their life, but seldom would reach there with a purpose. And those who does actually are the one who has a vision. So I really hope that I will continue this journey at M Circle, and not just trying to gain another perspective and grow personally, but I will also be an influence to other people too. Who knows, somebody might need something from my side that would be beneficial for growing their own ministry or for their work or for their family. So all in all, I think the biggest blessing is to have the opportunity to constantly engage God. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Hi, good morning. My name is Patrick Wong. I work as a senior technical project manager in a mobile software startup. This startup is my third software startup. I've always been aspiring to be an entrepreneur, but not successfully becoming one. I still don't own my own company. What am I doing? I always ask myself, what happened to my entrepreneur spirit? Since 2 years ago, I joined M Circle and the mentorship program with Pastor Wu. It's exciting now to realize that I'm actually an entrepreneur. Maybe entrepreneurship can be the first step to become an entrepreneurship, or maybe not. It doesn't matter. I no longer feel confused or discouraged. Pastor Wu explained entrepreneurship requires 3 major ingredients: creativity, innovation, and venturing. I've never lacked of creative ideas. Probably my diverse education and career experience may be a good reason. I entered UC Berkeley majoring in architecture, but graduated in chemical engineering with focus in biochemistry. After a couple of years of biochemistry research, I switched my career path to join a software startup as the number 7th employee before the company received venture funding. The startup went public. Next, I decided to join a startup funded by a famous VC firm and eventually landed at Yahoo. At Yahoo, I challenged my manager to file several new ideas for patents and won a Super Yahoo Team Award before joining my current mobile startup. Pastor Wu helped me to draw the dotted lines of my past experience. Indeed, I rarely have visions, but the moves above that I talked were the times I had visions. My heart would have heavy burdens for a certain action. I had to pray for peace. Looking back at several major decisions I made in those days, I actually unconsciously were following the path of having a vision which gave me new thinking. Right message was identified so I could share with those whom I believe would care. Acted on it when the urge to act was too strong to be ignored. Pastor Wood encouraged me to see that I did not waste time at all for those years. This is actually a valuable experience about vision and praying. I prayed to God to give me an idea to invent a biochemical process, and I invented one. That was my first job. A couple of years later, I cherished the convenience of being able to work from anywhere in the world. That means mostly software. So I quit my biolab job, rejected my manager counter offers, and went back to school to study software programming for 6 months. Then I prayed to God to complain about my first startup was about to run out of money. And you know what happened? Within a week, money from 2 top VCs flowed into the startup. So I never complained again. Indeed, vision and praying led me to overcome many challenges in my past. Furthermore, looking back for the time since married, it looks like I didn't do anything regarding entrepreneur, but actually I did. I have been carrying out various initiatives to improve my family relationship foundation. For example, how we figure out to travel for free and save money, and how we pray and had a vision to purchase our current home during the Christmas time, before it went to market and before the COVID. And at the end, we realized the house number is the days that we got married. At work, I've been collaborating with various teams in delivering excellent user products, improve agile execution, and bring my company to be ready for future bigger opportunities. Praying to God will continue to lead me. M-Circle and mentorship program will continue to provide me new learnings and feedbacks. I encourage you to join M-Circle and mentorship program.
Hi everyone, my name is Grace and I am currently a stay-at-home mom. I'm here to talk about how at Cloud M-Circle helped me unleash my potential by rediscovering who I am and what I'm passionate about. So a little bit background about myself. I grew up in a typical immigrant family. I was disciplined, studious, and obedient to my parents. I got into the college and my parents picked for me and selected a major that my parents thought would provide me with a decent income and also a stable future. I worked in several large corporations in their finance teams. I was often praised for being a hard worker, quick learner, and also a great team player. At home, I was happily married with 2 children, and I thought I had my life and career all figured out. Until I hit a solid bump about a couple years ago. I was trying so hard at the point to balance both career and life and being the best version of myself at work and as well as in my family. that I had a pretty severe burnout. After this recovery, I decided to take a break and become a stay-at-home mom for a little bit. Even though I knew in my heart that it was the best decision for my family, the transition was far from easy. My career had been for me how I identify myself and how I value myself. And now being at home, I had to redefine all of it. I didn't know what I was good at anymore, and I wasn't getting any of the feedbacks that I was used to. So I went through a period of time kind of a little depressed because all of a sudden I felt like I was nobody. So it was around the same time that Pastor Wu came to our church and introduced EMBA and AdCloud to us. And I thought the focus of teaching was pretty awesome for my husband. I immediately encouraged him to join the 2020 conference and set up a mentorship session with Pastor Wu. My husband learned so much from the conference and the mentorship, but at the end of their meeting, Pastor Wu asked where I was and extended the invitation to me for the next gathering. I was a little perplexed because I was no longer in the workforce, so what do I have to learn, from a career mentorship? But Pastor Wu still insisted on the invitation for both of us because he said since I was my husband's best helper, I could be there to keep him accountable. So the following session, I showed up, not really expecting a whole lot other than taking notes for my family or for my husband. But what began as a casual introduction became an incredible journey that I wish I was a part of a long time ago when I was actually working. So in the next few months, Pastor Wu, through his extensive experience in the corporate environment and his solid biblical foundation, was able to help me better manage all aspects of my life, discover a whole lot about myself, and establish a growth mindset that helped me thrive in my new roles. So first, we spent a lot of time looking at my past. And we discovered together that even though I was doing well at work, I never truly discovered what I enjoy doing and what I was actually good at. We uncovered together that I mostly enjoy being in a team and perform the best as a supporting person instead of being fully in charge. So he instructed me to read books like Second in Command by Dutch Sheets. It encouraged me to be the best leader as a supporting person. He made me realize that every one of us are made to be leaders, even at the seemingly non-leadership positions. I was able to bring what I learned to the school volunteer opportunity I was heavily involved in. I'm currently a program secretary for the program director, and this ongoing mentorship with Pastor Wu helped me tremendously to both manage the work and also manage up the relationship, set the right expectations and healthy boundaries. I was not only able to complete my job with less anxiety, I had and still am enjoying a really good relationship with the people I work for and work with. So the new skill set I learned from EMBA spilled over to my role at home. I realized that I was also a second in command in that arena. It became clear to me that I'm not home because I'm not working, but rather I have an important purpose there. I'm here to teach and lead my children. I'm here to be the best support for my husband because he needs me. And I have slowly realized that my leadership at home bear much more fruit than I previously recognized. My kids have been more joyful emotionally, and their living and studying habits improved significantly since I returned home. And I have now much more time to teach them about biblical principles, correct them on character issues, and also help them deal with friendship challenges. My husband now can come home confident that the kids are well taken care of and he has little left over to worry about. And I also have really taken on my place as my husband's best listener, cheerleader, and advisor for his work-related issues, especially those things that he can't really talk to his boss or coworkers about. It's those inner challenges that only a close friend could appreciate. I've realized that I am important either way, as a career woman, and now even more so being at home. Things are just not the same without me. So with this newfound appreciation for my role at home, I've become a more confident and joyful mother and wife, and that's something that my family really need. And also, beyond doing well with the current works on my hand, Pastor Wu asked me to battle my old habits of just doing whatever pleases others and not really thinking about what I want in life. He assigned me to find my own interests and explore these possibilities. He challenged me to stop doing so much and, interestingly, just sit there and daydream away. And that's what I did. I spent chunks of time revisiting my past curiosities and realized that I've always been interested in human psychology. Even when I was learning economics and business in college, what really drew my attention were things like, how human behavior and culture impacts economic policies, and how marketing teams looks into consumer behaviors to determine business strategies. I also realized that I was irresistibly curious about the topics of child development and especially youth and adolescence. Knowing these things, Pastor Wu encouraged me to do something I never thought of doing: go back to school. And I told him that's kind of too late for a career change, but he told me he's taken child development classes after his children have grown and after he actually retired. And he told me that the goal is not to study on something and then make a living out of it, but just to go and explore, meet people who are interested in the same thing. And he said, maybe in the midst, you will discover something about yourself. So the goal is to let growth and learning lead me to places I never knew I could be. And in the process of doing so, I would discover where my dream and interests reside. So he made me realize that potentials need to be uncovered, and the process takes an open mind and it takes action. So far, I haven't gone to any classes yet, but I found a few places where I can sign up in the near future. But in the meantime, because I have been paying more attention to these potentials, I have uncovered some future aspirations I might look into once I'm ready to go back to work. For example, I've thought about exploring the nonprofit sector instead of going back to corporate world, or the educational sector. So as these exciting possibilities start to open up, I now feel much less stuck at my role at home, and accepted this period of time as a perfect opportunity to grow and prepare for a brighter future. And that's my testimony. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Isabella Liao. I've been mentored by Pastor Wu and also joined his M Circle for 2 years. It's my pleasure to share with my journey with M Circle and also Pastor Wu. Let me just share a little bit about myself. At work, I have several titles. I'm being like chief staff, business development, business operation, business management, and I lead the multiple teams. I spend most of my time on the work, especially I need to travel almost like 4 to 6 weeks, international travel. And at home, I'm the mom with a 4-year-old daughter. And at church, I also involve many events. I've been leading the couple fellowship and also teaching the Sunday school. So I've been extremely busy. And actually every day I wish I have 48 hours. I can really play a good job as a mom, as a good employee, as a good wife, and also as a good manager. So it has been my struggle. And I always feel like I can do better if I have more time, more energy. But the reality is I don't have. So it's been very struggle how to balance my family, my work, and my church. Then what can I do, right? So almost every morning when I get up, I feel stressed, I feel hopeless, I feel like I have no choice. I have to just continue doing what I'm doing, but feel like I cannot do my best. That's the reason I joined that M Circle, because I really want to understand what is the God's plan for me. Should I do what I'm doing or should I change? But I don't have courage to make a change. So I need a reason. That's I joined the M Circle. And since I met Pastor Wood, and he really spent time with me trying to understand what my struggle and what is my value. And I just want to bring one of example. In his class, he talked about job, career, and calling. Okay, and as a Christian, I always feel like calling is always very difficult to achieve. I don't understand what is my calling, but I always struggle with my job. I don't even know if that's my career. But Pastor Wood told us you can think about different perspectives. So he gave us 7 perspectives called perfect. You can see my screen. So for me, the most inspired me is what is your value system? Why you spend time? Why you do your job? But when I look at that 7 perspective, should that tell me and also help me to understand why I'm spending so much energy and effort on my job, even though I really want to give up, but I never give up. Because I really like to share my experience and really listen my coworkers or even sometimes my managers, their struggle, and provide my opinions. And even though all this conversation takes me a lot of time, and sometimes even at night I have to, just finish my work because to backfill those time I spend with the people. But I realize that is why God put me in this position and even continue to elevate me in this company, because I have more influence and I have a bigger view. When I see the problems, I can provide my idea, my suggestion when they're looking for the solution. So that's the part of the journey. I realized my value in my company, even though I'm not the technical guy, but my employer and my employees, they all technical person. They have the PhD degree, but I realized I can help them in a different perspective, not the professional, but how really incorporate with the people, play the good team players, even sometimes their family issues. So that's the one of the inspiration I learned from Pastor Wood is how to look at your job and not just look at as a job. It can be the calling, and the calling means you can make your job more meaningful. And this is what I feel like my job become meaningful. So since then, I'm no longer treat myself as a victim, just like overloaded worker. I feel like I can help the people. I can be more proactive and even more hopeful. And I think one of my manager during my review, he called me I'm like a glue, okay, in organization, because I can really kind of smooth out those tough decisions, and especially some change management in organization. So through Pastor Wood's mentorship, I realized my value, what I can contribute to my company, not just what I did, what I'm doing, or the assignment, and also what I can help the people. And also Pastor Wood gave me another exercise, just moving, how can I move forward? So he asked me to write a resume. So I haven't write a resume for almost 20 years because this is my first job, right? But when he kind of walked me through the resume preparation, I realized that, oh, I feel like I have nothing to share with another new company because I'm not a technical guy. I don't have a paper, I don't publish a paper, I'm not a PhD degree. What I know is talking with the people, communicate with the people. But what the Pastor Wood, he gave me his view since he was working in the industry as a manager. So he gave me a lot of insight, not just from Bible, but also from his working experience that really bring me the confidence. And he told me I can look at myself as a problem solver. I can look at myself as a strategic thinker, which is more like a management skill, very difficult to write on the resume, but that the executive will appreciate that. So that's also brought me another view when I look at myself and what I'm doing in the past almost 20 years. Then moving forward, I really want to understand what is my next step. So as I mentioned in the beginning, I have a 4-year-old daughter and I really want to spend time with her. But also my job, even though I found the value, I can help the people, I really wish I can spend more time with my family. So I'm still seeking God's will, but through this activity, the exercise, and being mentored by Pastor Wood, I have a different view, and I really believe I can try different things, and I really believe God will on my side when I make a choice, and I believe I'm on the right track, to the calling God's plan for me. I just need to follow step by step and don't feel afraid and just give a try. Thank you.
So I'm sure all of us enjoy the M Circle experience so far with Pastor Wu. But I just want to ask my peer here, like, what is the most memorable or most interesting moment that you enjoy in this mentorship program?
Okay, so for me, I think I enjoyed the most was having my thought process challenged gently during each of my sessions with Pastor Wu, during our mentorship sessions. I can't tell you how many times I've thrown out like a challenge out there or like an idea out there and gotten some feedback that I never thought that I would get. For example, going back to school or rethinking about my career or thinking about myself as a leader, even as a follower. And I truly believe that any one of us can benefit from a career mentorship. I would even call it a life coach, no matter if we are working or not working.
Agreed. What about you, Isa?
I enjoy most is have a mentorship with my husband. I think it's really the process to know each other even more, because as a husband and wife, we share some some challenge from work, but normally we cannot chat, right? Don't really think through deeply. But through the mentorship with Pastor Wood, then we pretty much share even more. And as a listener, sitting beside Patrick, when he shared with Pastor Wood, I can learn, okay, that's what my husband thinking, what I can help him, or what kind of thing I should avoid, really encourage him. So that's helped me most. So I think that's kind of different from the mentorship just by myself. So that's really helpful.
Yeah, I can echo you both. I really think that besides Pastor Wu being a really cool pastor, yeah, I think he has the depth of knowledge and experience to understand our struggle at work, like a balance between family and stuff like that. And to the point that I feel like Grace mentioned, he's like a life coach type of mentorship. So I really enjoy that. So Patrick, I knew that you have some other mentorship program or business development program experienced before. How is it different than like the M Circle that you have been so far?
Yeah, actually, one of my very valuable experience in the past is I have joined another called business ministry program, and that was actually spearheaded by really Americans, really non-Asian. So it gave me a new perspective to see things outside of a typical, say, Chinese church. And I learned a lot from that business ministry activities, and also was able to join their a short-term mission trip to Jakarta, Indonesia. And then when I joined this Pastor Wood program, I was actually pleasantly surprised to see some of the principles were being reiterated by Pastor Wu. For example, it's just with different terms. For example, in my previous business ministry, we learned about 3 P's: planet, people, and profit. So for business, you don't just aim for profit, you also aim to help people. You also aim to save the environment or improve the environment. So we talk about 3 P's. And the Pastor Wu, he will break down those concepts into more, especially if you get a chance to read his book. It's about how you want to help people and how you want to create an impact. And rarely he mentioned about profit, and because profit, people know already that's one of the purpose or one of the objectives of owning a business. So probably he didn't need to talk about that much. So yeah, I was very happy when I again hear from someone I trust, Pastor Wu, that he mentioned, oh, you know, for business ministry, Christian business ministry, we also want to focus on helping people and more than just profits.
Cool. Yeah, so I hope our experience will bring another level of understanding of what M Circle is and then how you could benefit from it. And hopefully this is helpful, and we all hope to see you guys there.
亲爱的朋友，我是吴炳伟牧师我是 ActCloud 的创办人。其实神呼召我在这个矽谷有前面有将近20几年的时间都在职场上面高科技工作，我必须把耶稣成为他最好的 mentor 带进这个职场里面。所以在这个ActCloud 里面，我们就开始有 mentorship 的 circle。在 mentorship program 当中我有5个 step。第一个 step 就是 I model。什么是 I model？I model 就是说 mentor 去塑造一个东西，就好像主耶稣基督来塑造我们的生命一样。那这个 mentor 最大的 mentor 是耶稣，他在塑造我们，他在 model 我们。所以基本上我们是在旁边看。所以这个 mentor 在 model 的时候 ，mentee 是在旁边 watch， 在旁边看。那第二个 stage 的话就是 I mentor。就是说，当他在塑造的时候这个 mentor 会跟我们中间有一个communication， 在我们中间有一个沟通。那第3个 stage 的话是这个 I monitor， 换句话说这时候就开始由这个 mentee 来着手来进行这件工作。当他在做的时候 ，mentor 其实是站在旁边看，他在 monitor 你做的怎么样，他在给你鼓励他会给你提醒哪个地方要注意的，这是 I monitor 的地方。第4个部分是 I motivated， 换句话说，当这个 mentee 做到一个程度的时候，这个 mentor 会从旁边他一直给你 motivated， 他给你鼓励，他给你赞美他让你知道说你已经 on the right track。所以这个地方的时候是 mentor 要这时候 mentor 就要开始将他的一种从里面出来的对 mentee 的一个关心、一个赞美，这个时候就出来了。当第5个 stage 就是 I multiple。OK， 换句话说，这个 mentee 他已经学到很多的东西，他可以将 mentor 所教他的东西，他开始出去这个复制成为 duplicate， 他去 lead other leader， 他去 recruit other leader， 让他的 team 越做越大。这时候就是这个我们所说的生养众多，遍满全地这是 I multiply。是 mission。我们所谓的 mission 基本上就是说，除了我们的大使命之外，马太福音上面的大使命，我们要自己知道神给我们的使命是什么。那我们知道神给我们的呼召是在哪一个部分， 当我们知道神给我们的呼召的时候我们知道我们的命定就会出来。所以我们不是被我们的职业绑架了，我们不是被我们的职务绑架了。我们的职业可能是做 software engineer， 我们的职务可能是做一个 manager， 可能是做到一个 director。但是有一天当这个职务跟职业不见的时候，一个人开始就会没有安全感。所以在这个在 mission 这个中间，我们会帮助你找到你的生命的定位。OK， 那你就不会因着你职务或者是你的职业这个被 lay off 了，或者是被 phase out， 你就开始这些惶恐。所以在这个 mentor 的中间，我们会帮助你在做这一部分，这个是 M circle。慢慢我们可以从每一个教会里面多多少少一个两个就这样子被 recruit 出来。我就把这10几个，将近有18个 mentor 到目前为止，我把他们 recruit 出来了以后就发现说，其实这个 ECCLOUD Marketplace Ministry 这个 EMBA program 做了很多在教会里面没办法做到的。中间有缺了一环，就是在职场上面想要更上一层楼，却在教会里面找不到答案。或许可能在教会里面有1个或2个长老，他们是非常好的 CEO。但是如果说我们把众教会的这些高科技的这些又属灵又有高科技的经验的人，把他们聚集在一起的时候，那是更好的。所以 ECCLOUD 的这个 EMBA ECCLOUD 说实在是一个非常好的一个 pool， 它集合了湾区众教会这些，神实在很奇妙每一个教会里面都有1两个或者3、4个这个在职场上面非常有这个恩高的弟兄或姐妹在里面。当我们把他们全部呼召出来的时候，这就是我们 ECCLOUD 这个 EMBA 最大的这个产业的地方，因为这是神所赐给我们的产业，是从众教会里面呼召出来的一些这个在职场上服侍那这些东西这些人成为 mentor 是一个非常好的一个见证。亲爱的朋友，我非常鼓励你一起来 join EMBA ECCLOUD 的这个 program。不管你是来参加 as a mentee， 或者是你来参加 as a mentor， 我们都非常的欢迎你。因为不只是 mentee 从 mentor 身上可以学习到很多人生宝贵的经验， mentor 也可以从 mentee 身上也可以学习到这些年轻人新的想法。让我们 mentor 跟 mentee 我们 get together， 我们大家一起来 level up， 我们提升我们人生的下一步，我们一起来成长。我们诚挚的欢迎你加入我们的行列，谢谢你。